child marriage was the norm, right? Now, for quite some time, it is illegal, right? So now we have to take that context. Like even in the story I just read out, right? The wife Meena getting upset and running behind her husband with a broomstick, is something that is very much there in that story. But the fact is, it's not. Yeah, it's part of the original folk tale, right? Where this is that kind of a strained relationship between the husband and the wife. So while you read it, you also have to understand that the way you write about it today is different, firstly, and even very important sometimes to contextualize that, because we have to all understand that folktales, as I said, have been traveling to us from a very distant past. So there will be certain notions, and certain incidents that you're like, oh, how can this be? But that's the beauty. You need to listen to it and know what it is, and move on from it. Just how we do history, right? A lot of those things don't apply today, but it's always good to know where we come from. So
true. So generally, if you have to just say, for example, I'm this is just out of me asking, out of my curiosity. If you set yourselves to write a book, or when you think that, oh, I need to start building up something, there is some idea somewhere generating it. Right. How long do you take actually? How much time do you invest on writing out, like creating something like that?
So it really depends how complex the topic is, right? When you're doing folktales, a lot of them, there's a lot of research material available, right? So you actually read 2-3 versions of that particular story, and you decide how you want to craft your set of stories. I'm speaking specific to folktales. So that can be between, a month or 2. It's easy to move from research to writing to, submitting the first draft, and maybe there's changes that come in from the editorial towards, whatever the writer needs to change in the script, or the book. But if it is original, it can take between 1 to 2 years at least. Like in terms of, when I say original, if you are creating this whole world. So if I'm talking about an adventure which is set somewhere into the future, maybe 100 years from now, so then there is a whole lot of world building that will go in, right? So you want to create those visuals, because one of the things that all books do is, while we are reading the words, the visuals are forming in the minds of the readers, right? So it's important to spend time creating that world, if especially it's set into the future, or it's from a distant past or something like that. And if it's a completely original adventure, so I would think it takes anywhere between 3 to 6 months for that, idea to sort of germinate, right? And then you add research to it, you read a little more, maybe you travel a little more to certain places which inspire you. Yeah. So that's how it works.
Pretty long a process then. So because why I was asking that question is, so at fREADom for our kids, so as part of our classes also, we encourage them to write a lot of questions. So on our website also, you would have seen, I'm not sure if you have seen, we have a young authors blog section. So these are content. So these are content directly from the kids. Our internal editors or the facilitators may help them a little bit to edit and give a little bit more structures. We even have courses that helps with, we've done previously with book publishing. So right now we are going to launch something for a story publishing. So a lot of the content on the app itself, yes, we have amazing publishers and authors on board, but then we also have our own users content that are getting on board onto the app as the stories that we publish. So do you have something, if you have a great...
Sorry, Nagma, your
platform.
No, I missed that part. Do you have? I couldn't hear you then. Oh dear. I don't know if it's just me or...
Yeah, I think we lost her.
Yeah.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, you're back. Are you?
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, Nagma, you're back.
Sorry, I had a Wi-Fi
no worries,
just giving hard to me. So I was telling us, like I was telling, we have a lot of content that our young authors itself create, and we put them up as stories on the app. We've helped them with physical book publications before. So all of that has been going on in the back end. So even currently, we are planning to get in touch with schools to relaunch book clubs. So we really love it when our kids are actually creating stories. Our internal team is amazingly supportive to edit it, get it onto a great structure. So this keeps going on. So now, if you were to give some great tips, some great advice to these kids. I mean, these could be kids who are ranging from the age of 5, they could be up to 12 years, 13, whatever it could be. So what would your advice be to these young authors? How would you think you can help them to maybe say help synthesize their ideas better, or help train them the ideas, because language is a different skill. Well, let's not bring that up here. But then the points from synthesizing the idea, or just compartmentalizing their thought processes and everything, what would your basic tips and tricks be for these young folks?
Right. So I think one of the ways to do, as you said, to sort of sharpen if you have a basic storyline, right? Always plan your story out a little bit first, right? Because you don't just start. I mean, at least the process that works with me is I actually put down the beginning, the middle, and the end, right? So you have the beginning, then you have like whatever the problem or the conflict that plays out, and then there is a resolution to that. So it's important to have a rough working of how that story has those A, B, C parts, right? Because they are connected, because it's something that we call bare boning, so there are certain absolutes that the story has to kind of beats that the story has to go through, right? From A to B to C to D for it to make logical sort of a flow. So that would be important. Generally, also, I would say that listening and observation these are skills that, apart from as I said, I'm not getting into the language part of it, but just being a good, just being in a place, sometimes you're in a festival and your observation of, okay, what are the kind of colors, smells, sound, so using your 5 senses and taking in that information always helps, because somehow that translates into your writing, and that becomes much, richer when you're creating those scenes in your story as well. So definitely using your 5 senses when you're out and about, wherever you are, and being an observer is a very important, I feel, kind of a skill for a writer to have, young or, older in that sense. And of course, reading in multiple languages, I would say, because it's not just about the language and the syntax and the vocabulary. It's also about how different authors create, as I said, the visualization of the story. So this is something that, even all the young authors should, I think, could keep in mind, and that might help. But definitely using the 5 senses and documenting, like I used to do that earlier. Now I think I do it a little less, but I used to keep like a small diary. And, if it's words that come to mind when you're out and about traveling, smells, just feelings, all of that, make like sort of a journal of it. Or even if you're out and you can sketch rough sketches, if you're traveling or you've gone to somebody's house or something like that, it always helps to have a small diary. So that becomes some place where you sort of put these thoughts and memories in. So that would also help.
That is really interesting. Do you also do the sketches for your stories? I mean, the sketches that you have on your books, you get it done, or you?
No. Those are done by illustration artists.
Illustrators itself, direct.
Yeah, I do sketch, but that's more as a visualization part of it. That's more, I'm not that skilled on the illustrated books bit yet. Hopefully,
is it like how I say I sing in the bathroom?
Yeah, it's like that. It gets the work done. So it's nice to create, the look, feel. Sometimes when you want a character to look a certain way, or you have imagined this particular scenic village to have these elements, and also it's nice to create those rough storyboards and stuff. For reference, for sure. Because I do sketch and I paint and I dabble in art as well. But when it's finally, it's the writing that I do. And then there are obviously many other stages, as you're well aware, from the editing to the illustration to all of those aspects of publishing that are done by the experts.
Interesting. I've had Mansvi raising her hand. Manasvi, do you have a question?
Hi, Manasvi.
I've granted you permission. You can unmute and talk as well. You can even switch on your video. Manasvi, are you there?
Maybe she's not able to connect the audio. Maybe just put it in the Q&A.
No, right now I think in the mic is also on for her.
Hi, Manasvi.
Hi.
Hi.
Wow, how sweet. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, we can.
Yes.
How are you, Manasvi? How are you doing?
Yes, I'm good.
Good. Lovely. Did you have a question for us?
No.
No?
You just raised your hand. How did you like the session, Manasvi? Did you enjoy the storytelling?
Yes.
Great.
Did you enjoy the rest of the talk that we were having? Were you able to understand it?
Yes.
Okay, do come
lovely.
for our next event as well. We do have another author on board coming up on the next Saturday.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Manasvi.
Thank you, Manasvi. Thank you for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.
Sridhara, Rituja, if you have, there is always a concept that we get to hear from our young authors or our kids, participants, basically, our students who are part of our live classes or our app users, that a question that comes to their head is, where do I start if I need to write? So there is always somebody who has always tried writing, or are bloggers also. What we see is that we get people, repeat writers. Somebody who's written a blog before is always willing to write it again. Somebody who's tried out a story before is always willing to write. But if we have to tell them, or when they ask us a question, where do we start? What is that first point? Like today, for me also, I'm not a kid. I'm somebody who's 30, turning 30 this year. But then still, if I have to think of start writing, where do I actually start?
Well, I would say one very fun thing to do is actually maintain a personal diary. So you can just start by writing what happened in your day, get into the habit of actually whatever. I feel like I do that every day, also putting pen to paper. It's something about, actually physically writing rather than typing on the laptop, which is very different. And it actually has certain scientific reasons also why we, also get children to write, because there is a certain creativity and imagination and all of those aspects that it builds. So just put pen to paper, write about your day, maybe every day 2 pages. That's a great place to start, You can write about how you feel, what happened, what you ate, did you meet somebody interesting, or anything. Literally, you don't have to worry about the grammar, the sentences are half or anything. Just start writing with that. So that what happens is that I feel kind of that flow starts, and then you will see maybe inspiration comes from those pages itself.
Oh yeah, true. I think, now thinking about it, I think I used to write diaries when I was a kid. And then at some point you started getting worried about what if somebody reads my diary? Oh my God. So then you kind of stopped writing. And I think I stopped writing when I was in my 7th or 8th standard. But then I agree with your point, because once we used to write down and I used to love writing. I used to scribble back, write in poetry, this basic stuff basically. But then I do agree with the point you talked about, was that when we used to write the diary, there were certain incidents we would want to go back to. So when we are writing it, we start imagining. And my imagination, it's funny how it goes. My imagination used to literally go in, okay, we picked up one incident that you started writing on the diary, and I used to have some 10 different endings. My imagination goes. So you started off with something and then you create. Okay, this happened. Okay, I'm not happy. What if this happened? And then what if this happened? So this used to keep going like that. Oh yeah, I agree.
It's a beautiful tool. It's very simple to do. And either you can, as an adult, if you are worried somebody's going to read it, you can maintain it on your laptop with a code, or literally take the book and just put it and lock it in your cupboard. So, but don't write because you think somebody's going to read it.
Yeah, but then writing it with a pen and on the paper is very different from writing it on a laptop. It's like I hate Kindles. I need the printed book.
The printed book,
in front of me. I need to turn the pages.
It has its own charm, I don't think it's not either or. We do both, of course. You can't now as a writer write and then give these handwritten things to anybody, right? You have to type it. but at least your diary or, this free flowing writing that happens, you can use, a pen and paper for that. So
cool. I think that was amazing advice. Yeah. For everybody who's joined here, I think even the parents who are listening to us today, I think this is something that you should definitely be encouraging the kids, your kids, their friends, your relatives, kids who are there. I think journaling is something that is really important because I think as a kid, it builds in your creativity to the next level. And as an adult also, like anything that we are dealing with through today, let it be balancing out our life, our pressures, our stress, which we come across today. And the first solution everybody come back and ask us to do is journaling. You write down what really is happening, analyzes or helps us to analyze our life better.
Yeah.
True, that's really, really
and
great.
also it's like a way for your thoughts to flow out, right? So then sometimes, as I said, there are those nuggets of inspiration which are there within. You don't even need it from outside. You've already observed it. And as I said about using the 5 senses, you'll realize how much you anyways land up doing it when you sit to write about something that happened in the day. You will remember the loud sound of the train, or you will remember those random things, which you may not have consciously known that you were actually observing. So it's a nice way to get going on that habit.
That's interesting. Rutuja, one last question from my end, and this is something that we've came across, not just from the kids, but also us as a company, fREADom, who was trying to get people to read. So today, one of the big challenges we are facing, the parents are facing, the teachers are facing, is that the kids have too many things running around them. This could be YouTube, this could be movies, this could be the games on the app. They have n number of stuff available, so easily accessible for them that the connect that people want them to try and build with books or reading or stories, even bedtime stories for that matter. Today, kids want to watch something and then sleep rather than trying to read. I'm not going against for any of this, but there is this general difficulty. When we were kids, it was very easy because our go-to place was asking somebody, granny, to give us a story, tell us a story, or just going and picking up by yourself who loved reading. But today there are too many things, and we're not really able to get people to read, actually. So is there something that you've come across in your researches, or something that from your end would be a solution for this?
Okay, so I'll speak to you about my experience as a parent. I am, I have a 6-year-old son. Yeah.
Interesting.
So, but the thing is that he was literally, we read to him. So both me and my husband are voracious readers. We love books a lot. So much so that when the day, so the day he was born in the evening, and we read the first book to him that same night, right? Having said that, in the last 6 years, there have been patches where 6-8 months he was not so interested in books, so we would be like, oh, he's not touching any of the books, and he has an extensive library. So I think one of the things that as parents we can do is read together, so read to the child, pick up any book, whatever, some stories that even you like, obviously age appropriate, but read together as a family. I feel like that goes a long way because, that is also like that bonding time and something about it. And I've seen that with a lot of parents around, like when they read with their children, because once the children, and also especially when the children start reading, a lot of parents stop reading to them. And that is one of the things that you should not stop. Even if your child is 6, 7, is now an independent reader, it really is very beneficial to actually read to them. There is, there's a lot of, so that kind of that love, that bonding kind of remains, I feel. And of course, stories, it's very simple. So if you feel like, narrative style is not working, picture books work really well for younger children, even for older, like comic books, so a lot of maybe parents complain that, the teens or the 12 or the tweens are reading more comics. So maybe you can look at, graphic novels, which are, obviously like appropriate and something that teach like generally the value systems that we admire, but allow them to pick up the kind of format and maybe the kind of genre that they want. So if you like the horror genre, there are enough good authors, good publications which do it well. So let them read that. It's better than stopping that altogether, so if you have so I feel, and that's true for adults, don't have to read nonfiction. If you still like reading Ruskin Bond, go for it.
Oh yeah,
It's the joy
I
of
think I ordered
reading.
a Charles Dickens entire classic set 2 weeks ago.
Exactly.
I think I learned about this in school was during my second, third, fourth standard. We used to have Charles Dickens as our second English second class where we do the comprehension. But then I think 2 weeks ago I ordered it on Amazon. Just I don't know what do you even call it. It's not even curiosity. You already know these stories, but it's
It
just the
doesn't matter.
fascination.
Yeah.
To read
No, the
again.
reread. I mean, I am a huge Agatha Christie fan. Like I know, and it's like they are murder mysteries, right? So you can keep reading them. I can read them every year, and somehow maybe it's just I don't have a great memory, maybe, but I kind of enjoy it every time I read. Just the beauty of the writing.
True.
So just pick up a topic you like and read is what I would say for adults. And for children, I would request the parents, grandparents, or any adult in the family to read along and read to them. That is one way.
I think that's the message to the parents of every single kid who's joined in today. I'm not even sure the names that I'm saying are the parents of a kid, but then these are messages for you. Kavyansh, I had actually unmuted you in between. You had raised your hand. Do you have a question for us? Kavyansh, you there?
Kavyansh, I think he is muted. His mic is not on.
I've seen a hand raised, so I was checking in. Okay, no. Oh, yeah. Kavyansh, try to talk.
Hi, Kavyansh. Are we pronouncing your name right?
Hello, ma'am.
Hi, good evening. Sorry, Nagma, are you able to hear him?
I can hear the background sound, but not the person.
Kavyansh, we are not able to hear you. Yeah, in case you're speaking, we are not actually able to hear you. Maybe you can speak closer to the mic.
No, I think that was a false alarm.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. It happens all the time. I'm just glad, we're doing this evening. I've been so excited all weekend.
It's going live on YouTube as well.
Okay, lovely.
So we'll be resharing the
YouTube viewers.
We'll definitely be resharing the links to our entire user base. So a bigger set of app users will be resharing the link again once the event is over. Cool. That's all the questions from my end. And any last words from you? Last words as in for the event from you, Rajita.
Nothing. Thank you so much. And I would like to thank your entire team for putting together this wonderful fREADom Book Club, right? That's the entire name for it.
Yeah, along with Collins. They are help us completely unforgettable in this.
Yes, supported by HarperCollins. And it's a wonderful initiative, and I wish you guys all the best. And thank you so much for having me here today evening and giving me the opportunity to interact with your team as well as the children.
So that's really been our honor. We're really looking forward to maybe more sessions with you in the future, and even maybe offline sessions in the future, not just trying to talk over, because your energy, I don't think it should get limited behind the screen. If it had been a school auditorium with some 500,000 kids, this would have been way more amazing.
Oh, yeah, I would love to. So please let me know whenever. I've done a lot of workshops. As I said, I've worked extensively with schools, parents, teachers, a lot of, school programs and stuff. So that would be lovely as well.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Rutuja, for that big ball of energy today. It's really been amazing talking to you. And for me, it's been personally great. So to have had this, because being an avid reader, loving this world of books, I think for me, this has been a great opportunity. So even though working with the team, we have multiple of our teammates doing these events. My first time, but then that's been amazing for me. Thanks a lot, Nisha, if you're still online, for being here, helping us getting Rituja on the screen today. Thanks to all the parents who's let their kids join in. We had seen people dropping down in between here and there, but that's cool. People who have been here, that's amazing participation. Thank you so much. And Rituja, honestly, we really would love to see you again someday with some other format of an event.
Yes,
really
definitely. Yeah, I'll wait to hear from you. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening. Have a great weekend. and see you again next week. So we have 2 more author sessions already planned, the upcoming 2 Saturdays. One will be 27th and the 3rd. You have the same registration link, whichever you have received already. We have 2 more events coming in. You can already advancedly book off your tickets, or which is reshared with you further later. Thanks a lot, Rituja. So let's sign off then.
Yes. Thank you. Good
Have
evening.
an amazing weekend. Thank you.
Bye-bye.